One watching, 31 seconds in. One watching, one like, 36 seconds in. Two watching, one like, 39 seconds in. Three watching. Dude, I'm telling you, it's getting really, really hard to follow Blackie Fitzpatrick's show. Number one, he's better looking. Number two, he's more. Three, four, he is music. Number five, he is the walrus. Not necessarily in that order. Not necessarily in that order. Hello, Bandit. Hello, Christy Cheney. What's up? And then I have to come on, and I have to do my goddamn conspiracy show. And it just makes everyone depressed. It just makes everyone depressed. But I'm not going to open with that. I'm not going to start with directly with conspiracies. What I am going to start with is this. I spent... Oh, what's up? Blackie has joined us. Our newest resident superstar. Dude, Blackie, you just missed me doing my whole opening monologue, which was like 31 seconds of me basically, YouTube jerking you off, essentially. Can't say enough good things about the Alec Whittier, a.k.a. Blackie Fitzpatrick show. Absolutely taking off and just kicking ass. Can't say it enough. Cannot say it enough. But yes, as I was saying, my show is a little bit different. It's a little bit different. I cover, conspiracies and politics, etc., etc. So what I ended up spending a good hour and a half today doing, because I'm unemployed and I have nothing to do. Oh, everyone's saying sup? Okay. All right, I'll just do my opening monologue, and we're gonna let the opening credits kind of do their own thing, which is you guys. I mean, it's a viewership based show, I spent a good hour and a half today researching, and I guess we can start off with the 1-2 game. I know how much you guys love the 1-2 game, don't we all? 1 for yes, 2 for no. I'm 34, so I'm a little bit young to really remember what Reagan was like as president of the United States. But I spent a good hour and a half earlier today researching the presidency of Ronald Reagan. His rise from Hollywood, not unlike Donald Trump, by the way. A lot of similarities there. Very, very different personalities, I would say. But what I will say is there are similarities. They exist, and they need to be talked about, I think, in an open forum. So that's what I wanted to open with. Like I said, I learned about Ronald Reagan from history books, and I learned about Ronald Reagan from, school. Believe it or not, even up in Boston, they still taught us about that presidency. And I've never seen somebody so charismatic. He was funny. He would tell jokes at almost every single press conference. And he would always have these one-liners. He would have these, I guess you would call it Reagan-esque one-liners. So I guess what I want to open with is there anybody in the chat? We have 7 watching, 4 likes, 4 minute, 21 seconds in. Do we have anyone who actually remembers the Reagan presidency? The Ronald Reagan presidency. Does anybody remember? One thing I didn't like about the Ronald Reagan press conferences is I had to see that fucking fucker, George H.W. pedophile Bush, always sitting behind him. I didn't like that, because I know what that guy is. Blackie Fitzpatrick remembers Reagan. Very nice. You must have been in Boston at that time. Or at least in the, what's the word? In the contiguous United States. Back at that time. I was too young. I just had to hear about Reagan's presidency from, history books and YouTube and research and et cetera, et cetera. I do remember the one quote, Mr. Gorbachev Tear down this wall. I remember that. I remember that. I don't remember watching it live. I remember the quote. Very, very famous quote. My numbers are fluctuating in a way that they don't normally fluctuate. That's all right. Everyone tends to stabilize at a certain point. And then after we do some Reagan, we'll probably do about, I don't want to be on too long tonight. I'm really, really tired. I have a big day ahead of myself tomorrow. I got to get her, because I can't get a license for another 41 days. Zyga Magicus has joined us. Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Well, it's awesome to have you here, Mr. Zygo. Hey, Zygo, do you remember Ronald Reagan? Or are you young, or relatively young like I am? I want to know what it was like to live under that kind of, like a presidency, basically. An actor, total Hollywood, total Hollywood, total Hollywood. Very charismatic, turned into a politician. And I think the only contested race with Reagan was with Carter, right? Jimmy Carter? Little Jimmy Carter, the Peanut Man. Of which I don't remember that presidency at all. I wasn't even alive yet. Zygo says, I remember MTV. Me too. I remember when MTV was music television. And then they went all reality show, and Rescue Pets has joined us, and Ruby Hunt has joined us. Hello, everyone. Reagan was great. Ruby Hunt, why don't you take the reins of this a little bit right now, and cable movies. Yeah, exactly. I think he was in some Westerns. I think that's what it was. Rescue Pets says Reagan rocked. Yeah, Rescue Pets just joined us. During my opening monologue, what I described was, it's the garage. It's kind of loud. Sorry about that. During my opening monologue, I talked about the fact that I basically only learned about Reagan through, school, believe it or not. Even in Boston, they taught us about President Ronald Reagan. And, history books, because I like to read. I like history books. Ruby Hunt says Reagan was a lot like Trump. He plainly loved America. Exactly. That's why I'm probably researching him right now. Everybody knows my support for Donald Trump, the duly elected president of the United States, and it's caused me to go back and do research on Ronald Reagan. Zygo says, hello, rescue. Yeah, Reagan is what I would call a statesman, and I would call Donald Trump a statesman as well. That's why I like him so much. Trump and Ronald Reagan, who I'm learning about. Rescue Pet says, stood at attention / parade for 4 hours in uniform for Reagan's ceremony when in the courts. Well, number one, thank you for serving. And number two, very nice. We should all respect our presidents. I even, believe it or not, I even respect, Obama. I think he was terrible. I think Obama was terrible. But you still got to respect your president. We were proud to do so. Blackie says, sweet at Rescue Pets. Yeah. Nancy Reagan was great as well. I watched her. She didn't seem to talk too much. I watched her, spacebar is sticking, sorry. I could make some jokes, but I will not. That being said, yeah, when I was watching President Reagan earlier, You know, and not just 1 hour and a half long video, not just 1 hour and a half long video, but, you know, various things, probably 3 different videos totaling about an hour and a half of time. I saw Nancy Reagan standing beside him, and she just looked so dignified. She looked so dignified. That's the only word I can use. Orange Knight has joined us. Nancy turned a lot of people with the slogan, "Just say no." Yes. She was the original war on drugs. I disagree with that. I think all drugs should be legal, personally, including heroin. Believe it or not, I know that'll make some folks angry. I know that'll make some folks angry. I personally believe that all drugs should be completely legal, free market, totally legal. I just lost a viewer, probably because I just said I don't think heroin is a bad thing. I've lost friends to heroin. Of course it's bad. You know, but I'm also somebody who believes in, number one, government stay out of our business, and number two, you know, for example, alcohol is legal, but if you drive drunk and end up running someone over and fucking killing them, okay, it wasn't the alcohol that did that. It was your bad decision making. You know, I'm very, very libertarian on that. I hope I'm not making too many people mad, but those are my views. Those are my views. If you want to put a needle in your arm, if you want to sit on your couch and put a fucking needle in your arm, and you have 2 kids, you know, running around, and you're a father or a mother, or you want to open up that crack pipe, and you want to ruin their lives and your own life, etc., etc., it's not the drug that did it, it's your bad decision-making that did it. I hope that makes sense. I hope that can resonate. Or even if you disagree with me, I hope folks can at least see where I'm coming from. It's about bad decision-making. It's not about the substance, in my opinion. And some countervailing arguments, and then I'll shut up and I'll take your comments and questions. Then I'll shut up and I'll take your comments and questions. But some countervailing arguments are going to be, well, if the substance wasn't there, then the bad decision couldn't be made. That's fair. Okay? But you can also hop in a car totally sober and drive 110 miles everywhere and end up harming yourself or harming others just the same. All right? You can go get a gun, at least in the, you know, United States of America still, because we have a Second Amendment. You can also go legally get a gun over the age of 18. And you can use it for self-preservation. You can use it to protect home and property. Or you can go shoot up a school or a mall and become a complete fucking murderer criminal. It wasn't the gun that did it. It was your bad decision-making. So I hope I'm making a decent argument here, and I'm just be curious to see what you guys are saying. Orange Knight says the bad decision is not to get help. Yes. Orange Knight says addiction is a disease. Yes. I'm an addict, and I won't go into my family. I don't bring them into my whole YouTube thing going on here. Christy Cheney says, I agree, JB. Orange Knight follows up with, that's why the availability needs to stop. What, of drugs, you mean? Rescue Pet says, if the substance wasn't there, those who want it would find it elsewhere. Exactly. Yes, absolutely. Oh, do I have a troll? Thank you, moderators. They just cook it up in the bathtub. Apparently, I have a troll. Thank you, moderators. Oh, the walrus is here. I can't believe this. I feel so famous right now. The walrus, assuming she wants it, is a moderator. I don't care if trolls come in here. My mods do a great job. I don't care. Let them in. And if they want to debate me, the only thing that they're going to suffer is intellectual pain. You don't want to debate JB. That I can promise you right now. Hell, they cook meth in, this is from Bandit. Hell, they cook meth in Walmart restrooms. I never heard that, but it wouldn't surprise me. Blackie's like 13 feet away from the walrus, and he says, "What's?" Thanks, JB. Well, it's a don't feel too special. It's a moderator only stream. That's the thing I've invented in order to keep everything under control. Because if there's anybody in the history of YouTube, aside from maybe Blackie Tonight, that was a spectacle all on its own. If there's anybody or maybe JujuBot, if there's anybody in the history of YouTube that gets trolled more than Blackie, it's JB. So I can't have enough moderators. So thank you very much. And plus, you guys work for free, so that's cool. We like that. But anyway, I just went on a whole heroin jag there. I just went on a whole drug rant. But I wanted to go back. Oh, no. Hold on. I'm ripping off Blackie now. Oh, no. Orange Knight says a woman took a dump in front of the cashier at a Starbucks and then threw it at her. How the hell did I miss that story? All I do is watch news media all day. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, my God. Did she... I hate poop. I hate everything about farts and poop. I hate it. You know, we all do it, but I hate it. But sometimes it's funny, and I'm going to have to reread. I mean, if any comment needs to be reread, it's this comment from Orange Knight. A woman took a dump in front of a cashier in Starbucks and threw it at her. Okay. I need to know where, I need to know when, and I need to know what happened. All right? I'm not like a sicko. I just need to know. These are not minor details. I need to know. Oh, God. Come on. Yeah, I'm trying not to have... Blackie says, giggle fit, here it comes. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be a professional stream owner. But that really caught me off guard. That was so fucking random. I'm not going to read it again. If you guys want to go back and read Orange Knight's comment. All right, he posted a link. So everyone leave my stream and go click, because if I click it, it's going to end the stream. Come on. Here's my only question. Was the perpetrated act, was it done on the floor and then picked up and thrown? Or was it done in the hand and then just directly thrown? And my second follow-up question to that would be, was it because of bad service? Was it because they just didn't like the person behind the counter? And also, that's assault, because whether it's poo, or whether it's a rock, or whether it's a frisbee, or whether it's a pile of dirt, or whether it's whatever, you can't throw something at someone. That's assault. That's assault with intent to harm. That really caught me off guard. Oh, my God. I just did a whole 5-minute segment on that story that Orange Knight graced us with. Oh, no. Oh, so she... I'm not going to be able to stop laughing until we fully get past this. No, I'm just telling you. I'm not going to be able to stop laughing until we fully get past this. Rescue Pets follows up and says, Blackie says the video is real. I'm going to have to watch that video later. I'll find it. I know I'm really good on YouTube. I know how to find stuff. Rescue Pets says, whoa, JB. She dumped it right in front of them. So it's like, here you go. Right on the counter. I can't. I can't deal with this. No, I'm just telling you, I can't deal with this. That caught me off guard. It's the sign of the fact that in certain areas, and my life is certainly not perfect right now. My life is certainly not perfect right now. My life is certainly not perfect right now. Okay? But that's something I can promise you I would never do. Okay? I can promise you I would never do that. She must have been on drugs or psychotic or something. Ruby Hunt says security cameras are great. Oh no, I can't believe I'm going to watch that later. Oh my god, does that count as a scat film? Does anyone know what a scat film is? If I watch that later, did we all just watch a scat film? Orange Knight totally fucking caught me off guard with that. Jesus Christ. I've had friends growing up, one in particular who, if I said the name and you guys watch Boston media, you would know their name. I'm not going to say their name. They're better now. Spent a good period of time in, let's just say, a mental health institution. Spent a good period of time, not like 2 weeks, like 2 years. Because of certain situations, let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that. And while they were having the psychotic break, I don't know if anybody has an aunt, has an uncle, has a niece, nephew, cousin, son, daughter, father, mother, friend, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, or anybody who has suffered from severe mental illness, But when this individual was in what we call the loony bin, the padded room for a good period of time, before this individual got the help that they really needed, which included counseling and also included some forms of medication, which I don't like the idea of medication, but in this case it makes sense. This person engaged in something called poo-poo painting, where they would basically do it in their hand and like smear things on the wall. I mean, can you imagine the point that you have to be in terms of a psychosis in order to engage in that kind of behavior? And that's obviously what this woman, at the establishment, at the Starbucks, was obviously in a very easily diagnosable psychotic break period. Now, when I laugh, okay, you guys saw me, 3-4 minutes ago, you saw me lose it laughing. Okay, if somebody, here I go again. If somebody dumps a pile of crap on a Starbucks counter, okay, number one, and I want to be very clear about my stance on this. Number one, that's funny as fuck. That's one of the funniest things I've heard in 5 years. Okay? Number two, no pun intended. That's another unintentional joke. Number two, we also need to pray for this woman and understand that they're obviously going through probably one of the darkest periods that anyone will ever go through in their entire lives, in order to be able to engage in that kind of behavior. In order to physically be able to engage in that kind. And plus, you have to have the mind behind it as well. There's obviously intent. There's obviously all kinds of things going on there. So number one, it's funny as fuck. That story from Orange Knight, which a link was provided by someone, is one of the funniest things I've heard in the last 5 years. Number two, no pun intended again, we need to pray for that woman because she's obviously in a psychotic break, and I've seen, and unfortunately throughout the course of my life, I mean, I'm 34, I've seen probably not as much as maybe some of you guys have seen, in the course of your lives. Certainly not as much as Blackie Fitzpatrick has seen in his life. So number one, it's funny. Number two, we need to pray for that woman because that's... I can't think of a more... I mean, unless she was high on meth or something. Or bath salts. Remember that bath salts thing? You know, some kind of crazy-ass drug. Some kind of, you know, totally whacked out. You know, oh, I took 17 tabs of acid, did 6 lines of coke, ate a quarter ounce of mushrooms, smoked a joint, drank a 40 ounce, and then I went and I took a crap on Starbucks, you know? So unless they're totally on, like, horrible amounts of substances, it's either that or they're mentally ill and they need help. Either way, they need help. But I was totally caught off by that. That's a very interesting story. And with that, I'm going to go back and I'm going to read your questions and comments. And we're going to have to take a trek upstairs pretty soon. I got to plug in the phone. Oh, yeah, the new iPhone battery is so superior. No, it's fucking not. It's horrible. It's worse than my old battery. It's worse. It's worse. And I've got this quote-unquote self-charging case. Oh, how great that's working out. I have full battery. I have full battery. I watched the Blackie Fitzpatrick show for a fucking hour and 9 minutes. And now I'm at like 8% battery. What a joke. $100 well spent, huh? Taking probiotics starting now. Good idea, Rescue Pets. Lots of crazed people in this world, myself included, says Ruby Hunt. Christy Cheney says, yes, I agree, JB. All right, now we're going to read forward. The Walrus is going to be right back. She didn't like all the poop talk, obviously. LOL Bandit. The VA would commit me, LOL. Okay. Well, again, thank you for your service. Rescue Pets says, pray for the mentally ill. Absolutely. I've known, maybe myself included, who knows? I'm pretty fucking crazy. But I've known some severely mentally ill people in middle school, in high school, adults, teenagers, kids. It's terrible. Bandit says, you forgot the Tide Pods. Yeah, kids are eating Tide Pods now. What the hell is going on? You know, little pods of laundry detergent because I guess they taste good and they look all like shiny and sparkly. So they just eat them and they get all sick. Terrible. Terrible. Rescue Pet says, like the nut that insists on sitting next to me in church. Tried to make change from a $20 from the offering plate. Well, I don't go to church, but I've been to church. And, yeah, that's messed up. That's all I can say about that. That's messed up. And urinal tabs. Oh, they're eating urinal tabs too now? Oh, my God. Raging Cajun has joined us and says, really shitty chat. Yeah, we're moving past that. 14 watchings, 7 likes, 30 minutes in. We're doing okay. Back had nothing to do with poops, says the Walrus. Which, by the way, if you guys don't know, the Walrus is Blackie Fitzpatrick's girlfriend and is a frequent guest on the Blackie Fitzpatrick show. JB, you aren't crazy. You even have papers to prove it. That's true. I do have papers to prove it. That's actually true. I almost used the C word again. I got in trouble for using the C word yesterday. I actually lost a viewer because I used the C word, so I'm not going to use the C word. I'll just call it the C word. All right, so I'll use the F word. Some fucker, for those of you who don't know, some of you were here. I remember. Some of you were here. I did a broadcast about, how the hell long ago was this at this point? Had to be 6 months ago at this point. I did a broadcast, and in the course, it was an epic stream. It was like 2.5 hours. And in the course of a 2.5 hour rant, I was taking questions, I was doing all kinds of stuff. And in the course of a 2.5 hour rant, I uttered the phrase, if Hillary Clinton gets elected in 2020, I'm going to fucking kill myself. I said that over the internet, okay? In the course of a 2.5 hour stream. Lots of stuff before that, lots of stuff after that. Next thing I know, 2 police cruisers, fire truck, ambulance, they're in my kitchen, and they committed me for a whole day of mental evaluation to make sure that I wasn't suicidal. And so I have these 6 individuals, uniformed individuals, in my fucking kitchen. My roommate is embarrassed as hell. My roommate is embarrassed as hell. And I say to these folks, I go, no, you don't understand. I'm a YouTuber. I do a live stream. And yes, those words that you're concerned about, I did say. I admitted to it fully. I was like, yes, I said those words. I said, if Hillary Clinton gets elected in 2020, I'm going to fucking kill myself. But that doesn't mean I'm suicidal. That doesn't mean I'm actually going to kill myself. It was in the course of a 2.5 hour stream. And they had me friggin' committed. So then I had to do interviews, and I had, the nurse, and she was very nice, and she's sitting on the edge of the bed in like a soft voice, and she was pretty cute. She was probably like 24. I'm like 34. I could tell she was young. And she's talking to me. She's like, so you don't have any thoughts of harming yourself or others? I go, no, I do a stream on YouTube. I said one thing, and there was a troll who doesn't like me, apparently, or doesn't like my politics, okay? And they did this whole thing, and somehow they got my personal information, and they called the authorities on me. I'm like, what the hell is this? I don't need to be sitting here in this hospital bed with the ginger ale and the saltine crackers taking up your time. I'm fine. What I say is what I say, for fuck's sake. I think I actually said that. I think I said that to her face. I think I said, for fuck's sake. And she's like, well, if there's, we have protocols, and if somebody makes a call, then we have to follow through with this kind. And she wasn't condescending like I just made her seem out to be. She was very nice. She was very, very nice. Very, very nice woman. And she was like, but if somebody makes a call, we have to, take action and just make sure that you're okay. I'm like, I'm fine. Can I please go? And they go, yes, you just got to fill out these forms stating that if you ever... Here's the funniest thing about it. I actually had to fill out the forms. No, I'm just telling you. I literally had to fill out the forms. She goes... I want you to, and it was on a yellow piece of paper. I showed you guys on YouTube months ago. I showed you guys. Not the specific language, but the yellow piece of paper. And I literally had to answer questions like this. If you start having downward spiraling thoughts, what are 3 activities that you like to do that you on your own can help you get out of it? And I had to write down fishing, throwing a frisbee, and streaming on YouTube. I actually wrote streaming on YouTube. And then she goes, okay, do you have any ill wishes towards yourself or to others? Are you going to harm yourself or others? I go, no. She goes, is that going to change in the next 48 hours? I go, no. And then she asked me all this litany of all kinds of other questions. They took my blood. They drew my blood. They did all this fucking weird, medical, unnecessary stuff. And I'm like, this is absolutely insane. The whole time, I'm just stewing in my own juices. I'm just like, can I go home? This is fucking insane. Can I go home? Por favor. I mean, she was a blonde lady, but I think I said por favor. And so they eventually let me go with a clean bill of health and a clean, record of mental health. And they're like, yeah, this guy's fine. He's just a little high-strung. I'm like, you think I'm a little high-strung? Hillary Clinton was almost president. You think I'm a little high-strung? I didn't say that because I didn't want to exacerbate the situation any more than it needed to go forward from that point. So I was at least a little bit smart in that regard, where I was like, just shut your mouth, do the yes or no question, answer, whole rigmarole that we have to go through. Just get through it, just get through it, just get the hell out of here. So I got the hell out of there. And then you know what? On top of all of that, it cost me like $30 to get a fucking cab home from the fucking hospital. So I have to stop by 7-Eleven, I have to go to the ATM, I have to take out all this cash. What a disaster. You know, so like I said, I think I iterated to this point on Blackie's show in the comments section earlier. You know, streaming on YouTube is not easy. It looks easy. You think you just turn your phone on? You think people aren't going to judge you? You think there aren't dozens and dozens and dozens of trolls behind the scene watching you, just waiting to get you, just waiting to get you? Whether they hate the president, whether they hate the fact that you're outspoken, whether they hate the fact that you have the confidence to go online and put your face out there and do this frequently. You think it's fucking easy? It's anything but easy, and I don't even play music. I mean, I'm a musician, I play guitar and stuff, and I know how to play drums, I can sing pretty good, but I don't even play music on my stream. I don't even play music. It's just my face on the camera. That's my format. That's what I've been doing since I started this whole endeavor, if you want to call it that. Or if one can call it that. That was a pretty good rant. I think it was a pretty good rant. I just got a lot of stuff off my chest right there. In bulk format. FLS360 has joined us. Says, good evening, JB. The Walrus says, yep. Sandra Cannon has joined us and says, is that you? Yes, that is Isabella. Blackie Fitzpatrick says, at Blackie Fitzpatrick. Raging Cajun says, hi, Christy. Sandra Cannon says, Blackie, I've been looking across the tube and no Blackie, no Alec. Well, maybe Alec Whittier will go on later. Who knows? He already did his show, but maybe he'll do a second one for free. For free. Because we don't get paid to do this. Or maybe Blackie does. I don't. I'm not monetized. All right, I'm going to keep the show on, but we're going to have to go for a walk up to the kitchen because or the living room. I don't mind hanging out in the living room because the roommate took off. I don't know if he went out on a date or if he's out to get some food. I have no idea what's going on. But I know that the place is... I just don't like to stream around him because it's awkward and he doesn't care that I do it. It's just, you know. But the phone's going to die any second. So let's go get this fucker plugged in. With my fancy new case, I love this thing. This thing is bomb. So if the stream dies within the next 21 seconds, I apologize, but I think we're gonna make it. I think we're gonna make it. I think we're gonna make it. All right, now I really think we're gonna make it. I think that's great. We just gotta plug in, otherwise it's gonna be a very abrupt and unexpected ending to the show. Here we go. All right, you guys are going to ride, okay? A little bit of a roller coaster ride. Oh no, wait, I can do it. There we go. Very nice. We like her very much. Blackie Fitzpatrick with a very with a profound statement. Every second is new. And that was directed at Sandra Cannon. Obviously can't spell tonight. Ah, you're fine. That's before my time, Rescue. I gotta catch up in the chat. I'm not doing a good job with the chat. Old timer here, I think, 62. I'm 34. I feel pretty old. I can tell you that. I've seen a lot in 34 years. Let's be honest. You don't really start noticing things until you're about 10. So I've seen a lot in 24 years. Let's say that. Oh, did Blackie mean now? What, are you guys gonna go fuck or something? Ragin says, the 80s prevent me from remembering the 60s. Those little bags of white powder. Those little bags of white powder. Rescue Pets says, grew up between Southern California and East Texas, then went back to Southern California in the Marines. Was way different, but still good then. Yeah, maybe back then it wasn't California, huh? The Walrus says, thanks at JB. Sandra Cannon says, I'm not sure, Bella. One night I had to scroll forever to find Gramps. The stream was buried. Yeah, sometimes Gramps is hard to find. I don't know what's going on. I know he's heavily censored by YouTube, and it's a fucking disgrace. Because what? The Walrus says, LMAO. Christy Cheney is laughing. No California in the early 80s. Yeah, I always knew. I mean, I was born in 1984, so I obviously don't remember the early 80s, but I just intrinsically kind of know that California wasn't always what it is. And I think a lot of it has to do with illegal immigration. The Walrus says, if you feel old at J.B. Lamarsby, how shall I feel? You should feel as young as you feel. Do your thing. I'm not trying to be a fanboy. Look. I mean, here I am with my face on an iPhone, okay? You guys are watching my face talk on an iPhone. So I'm not trying to be a fanboy, okay? I'm used to Blackie Fitzpatrick. Blackie has said things in the past to the effect of, oh, you know, I saw JB live and then that helped him go live, whatever. His show kicks ass. It's far better than mine at this point. But having the Walrus, and again, I'm not being a fanboy. I'm not trying to, you know, suck someone's tits. I'm not trying to do any of that stuff. All I'm trying to say is having the Walrus in my show live is an honor. Can I get away with that? It's an honor. It's an honor. I'm just telling you, it's an honor. Blackie says, thanks, bro. The Walrus says, yep. Rescue Pets says, the Walrus is not power trip. Well, walruses can't power trip. They're walruses. Orange Knight says, rescue internet, keep cutting out, pissing me off. FLS 360 says, really? Blackie Fitzpatrick says, correct. Raging Cajun says, hey Dutch, which is Orange Knight, a.k.a. Flying Dutchman, from back in the rally days. I remember the Flying Dutchman from back in the rally days. I watched probably every single Trump rally that ever happened, ever since the first time. I say to myself, I go, and, you know, this is going back almost 3 years at this point. I say to myself, I go, okay, so the billionaire guy from television with the ridiculous hair and the really hot wife and the really hot daughter is running for president of the United States. And I was like, okay, okay. I just choked on saliva right there. Sorry, hold on. That's not a smoker's cough. I just choked on saliva. I just breathed it in right into my lungs. Ugh. Luckily, that wasn't a bad coughing fit. So, I've always been, savvy on the internet, as it were. Why won't this work? What the fuck? Perhaps we try it from the kitchen. I don't think my phone's charging. It's supposed to be charging, but it's not charging. God damn it. No. This is kind of going to be a little bit of a... Hold on a second. This is going to be a little history of how you guys came to know JB, formerly JB Le Cafefe, and now and just as a quick aside, for those who don't know where the JB Le Marsby came from, it's that I have so the LE is because my bloodline is largely French Canadian, so Le French. And Marsby is because a news article came out about 4 months ago that said the first exploration to the planet Mars is going to be populated with bees. And they're going to monitor the bees, and they're going to see how the bees do, and they're going to, oxygen content and all that good stuff, and see how it works out. And then after that, they're going to send robots, and then after that, they're going to send humans. So that's where JB Le Marsby comes from. But the whole reason that I ended up, starting on YouTube was I learned about JujuBot, and I wanted to follow the election. So we have to go, literally, we have to go back to the election, right? And I'm saying to myself, I was going to vote for Ted Cruz. I'm like, Ted Cruz is I'm not a conservative. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a socialist. I'm not a communist. I'm certainly not a Bernie bot. I'm not any of that stuff. I'm an independent thinker and a conspiracy theorist. Okay, my political views are called the conspiratorium. That's what I like to call it. I come from the school of conspiracy. So fuck Bush, fuck Obama, all that stuff, right? That's where I come from. And I see this ridiculous-haired, orange-faced, screaming mad businessman, screaming mad businessman with the most ridiculous hair you've ever seen, aside from mine right now. I'm like, who the fuck's hair looks like that? Oh, yeah, I know Donald Trump from, he was on TV and this and that, He had a show and he makes buildings and et cetera, et cetera. But then I started watching the rallies. But then I started watching the rallies. But then I started watching the rallies and I saw, here's what I saw. I saw hundreds. I'm getting emotional right now. I always get emotional on my channel, right? I said I never cry on camera. Lie. Total lie. Then I started watching the rallies, and I saw hundreds. And then I saw thousands. And then I saw tens of thousands. And then I saw stadiums. And I saw airport hangars. And I go, something's going on. I need to listen to this dude. I'm just telling you, I said to myself, I go, I need to listen to this guy. What's going on here? What the hell is this? He's orange-haired, orange-faced, golden-haired, orange-faced, and had a TV show and builds buildings. The hell is this? Where's my lion Ted Cruz? Where's my Ted Cruz? What's going on? He's getting swept under the rug. So I ended up getting caught up in the wave and watching Donald J. Trump speak in public, and saw how the audience resonated with him in a way unlike anything I have ever seen. And I'm a political person, you know, I'm 34. In a way unlike anything I had ever seen. I mean, literally selling out stadiums filled with more fans than a Red Sox game during the playoffs, right? Boston reference. Boston reference. So I'm watching this guy, and I go, you know what? Sometimes he swears, he insults people. This guy does not give a fuck. He has zero fucks to give. And by the way, with a life, well, yes, with a life as well, but with a wife like Melania, how could you possibly have any more fucks to give, right? You know? Guys know what I'm talking about. And maybe some lesbians know what I'm talking about as well, unless you're the butch type. So I end up watching these rallies, and I hear his message, and he goes, all these politicians are trash. All they do is lie and tell you what you want to hear, which I already knew, from my own independent research, way before Trump ever ran. You know, I'm a 9/11 truther since 2002, okay? So I know what the fuck is going on, okay? Sandy Hook did not happen, all right? I'm a 9/11 truther since 2002, so you know, he wasn't exactly telling me anything, you know, shocking. But I saw this person, and I saw all the other politicians. I saw the Democrats, I saw the Republicans. You know, Bernie Sanders, I like. I think Bernie Sanders would be a fine president if we want to live in a socialist country. I think Bernie Sanders would be a fantastic president if America wants to go full socialist, communist. So I wasn't going to go for that. That's just not how I'm typically politically aligned. You know, I'm not a communist, I'm not a socialist, I'm not any of that. But if that's where the country wanted to go, I would have voted for Bernie Sanders. Honestly, I really would have. So I'm watching this golden-haired, orange-faced, loud person who insults everyone, does not give a flying fuck about what anybody thinks of him, you know, because he's already made his fortune. He doesn't need the job of President of the United States. All these other politicians, they needed the job of President of the United States. Ted Cruz, John Kasich, Scott Walker, fucking Hillary Clinton. Ugh, Hillary Clinton. Oh my God. The Hildebeest. You know, I like the walrus way more than I like the Hildebeest. Can I say that? I love the walrus. I hate the Hildebeest. Because I know what she is. I know what she represents. Anyway. So they stole the election. They stole the nomination from Bernard Sanders. And that Martin O'Malley character never had a chance. Because it was Hillary's time. It was Hillary's time. And Bernie Sanders came out of nowhere. Bernie Sanders came out of absolutely fucking nowhere. And challenged Hillary Clinton. Now, I live in Boston, so, and I used to work in restaurants. So let's just say I'm basically surrounded by a, no pun intended, by a beehive of fucking liberals, okay? And again, I'm not a conservative, I'm not a liberal, I'm not an independent, I'm a conspiratorian, all right? My party is the conspiracy party. I focus on conspiracies. But I saw the wave that Bernie Sanders started and I was fascinated by it. And I saw the wave that Donald Trump started and I was fascinated by it. So I looked at the two and I knew they were going to steal it from Bernie Sanders. I knew they were going to steal it. Hillary Clinton had 5% of the support to Bernie Sanders' 95% of this of popular support. And they fucking stole it from Bernie Sanders. It's Hillary's time. It's Hillary's time. I'm not a perfect person, okay? I'm not the nicest person, I will say. I'm not the nicest person. I'm not the most cuddly person at all. At all. But I will say this. With all of the prior knowledge that I had about the Clinton crimes, the Clinton murders, and I just watch Hillary Clinton acting like this fucking weird demon, and she's fainting all over the place and collapsing and weird eye movements and stuff on, during campaign events and this and that. And I'm like, dude, Democrats, your party voted for Bernie Sanders. So are you really just going to blatantly steal it from Bernie Sanders and give the nomination to Hillary Clinton? And they fucking did. Dumbasses. Dumbasses. If Bernie Sanders ran against Donald Trump, I still think Trump would have won. I still think Trump would have won, but it would have been about that close. It would have been about that close. And I just don't know why the Democrats were so stupid in the way that they give it to this corporatist known witch. And by the way, when I say witch, I'm not saying that as an insult. Do you guys know that Hillary Clinton is actually a practicing Wiccan witch? You guys know that? You guys know that? She's a witch. She's literally a practicing witch. Actively practicing witch. Rescue Pet says Wiccan. Blackie says Wicca. Yeah. I mean, what the hell's going on here, folks? And I'm not even getting into, not that I wouldn't, but I'm just saying, I'm not even getting into the long list. I think the proper word is litany. The litany of murders surrounding the Clintons over the years, over the decades. Vince Foster. Does that name ring a bell? So we have this hardcore fucking criminal, Bill and Hill. Because let's be honest with each other, folks. They were trying to go for a Bill Clinton. They were trying to go for a Bill Clinton third term. You guys aren't boring. I'm just yawning because I've got so much going on in my life. I'm fucking exhausted. Even though it's only I think 7 or something p.m. I'm fucking exhausted, okay? Bill and Hill. Bill Clinton, the rapist, and hinder of her husband against a golden-haired, orange-faced, loud, obnoxious, let's be frank, ridiculous businessman known as Donald J. Trump. and they got their fucking asses pounded in the 2016 election. They stole 5 states and they couldn't win. 5 states and they couldn't win. As dumbed down as the American population is by and large, not you guys, not me, not you guys, not our audience, not Gramps' audience, not Jujubot's audience, but by and large, the dumbed down, and it's because of the chemicals in the food, it's because of the chemtrails system. It's not their fault. I don't fault them. I'll never call them dummies. I'll never insult them. But I will use the term dumbed down because that's what it is. They're dumbed down. What normally would be a 127 IQ is now probably like a 90. Because of bad education, decades and decades of social conditioning, all the chemicals, all the vaccines. I forgot to mention the vaccines. Combined, put together. It's a total assault. Down to 11 viewers. I just pissed away 5 viewers. Maybe I'm saying something wrong? Back up to 12? Okay, we like 12. Cool. But I think by and large, the brainwashed, feminists, and that's a whole other thing. I don't even have time to get into the feminists. And, the whole homosexual movement, the gay movement. And I don't care about gay. I don't care who you go to bed with. I don't care. But it's this movement that they want to tell us that we're bad. Well, that's I'm going to end up going off. I don't want to. So let me rein myself in. I'll back up. So literally, we had a Wicca witch married to the former rapist president, Bill fucking Clinton. Bill Clinton. The little nipple twister, Bill Clinton. And then this billionaire, golden-haired, orange-faced businessman comes in and goes, you know what? This country's fucked. I have to run for president. I have no choice. I'm going to give up all this. I'm going to fucking run for president. I have to do it. And he won. He won. He beat the fuck out of the witch. Oh my God, I was so happy. I remember on election night, and it went very late, and I had to work the next day, back when I had a job. I had to work the next day. And I went down, I was watching the election returns come in. I'm getting emotional, can you tell? I remember watching the election returns come in. And I went down to the pizza shop and I got a slice of pepperoni and I put some oregano and garlic powder on it, and I got a slice of cheese and I put some had him throw it in a box. No, not even a box. I just threw it in a paper bag, and I ate it in my car, and I was watching the returns, and I was nervous as fuck. I was biting my fingernails, which I don't really have any fingernails anyway, but whatever was possibly left of them at that point, I was biting off. Eating the pizza, biting my nails, watching, on the iPhone, which is what you guys are on right now. Watching the returns come in, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, because all the indications from the mainstream media was that Hillary Clinton was going to win. Even Fox, because that's what they wanted us to believe. Meanwhile, she was losing in a fucking landslide. Behind the scenes, if you didn't pay attention to the mainstream media, She was losing in a friggin' landslide, but they just kept telling us, Clinton's gonna win. It's her night. It's her night. It's her turn. It's her chance. It's her turn. It's her this. It's her that. It's her. It's her. It's her. It's her. It's all about her. Well, how about fuck her? Because you know what ended up happening is at about 2:32 in the morning, when I barely had an eye open, I watched the President of the United States, 45, Donald John Trump, come out on stage with Melania and Barron and Ivanka and all of them. And he gave his acceptance speech. And Hillary Clinton, the fucking arrogant Hillary Clinton. No, let me just say. The fucking arrogant Hillary Clinton didn't even have the ovaries to make a concession speech that night. She put out her alleged pedophile campaign manager, John fucking Podesta, to go out there and say, it's been a long night, and, it's been a long campaign. I've watched it like 50 times. I basically have it memorized. It's been a long evening, and it's been a long campaign. So everybody can just go home, and Hillary will talk to you guys tomorrow, or some bullshit. John fucking Podesta rapes kids all day, allegedly. It's like his favorite thing to do. Ugh, John Podesta. Fuck John Podesta. Oh my God, I hate John Podesta. I probably hate John Podesta more than I hate Hillary Clinton. I hate folks that disguise themselves as nice and they're, like, totally evil behind the scenes. I'm just really not a fan. And I have an evil, we all have an evil streak in our personalities, I would surmise. That's probably an accurate statement to make in one way or another, whether it's previous sins we've committed or whether we have bad thoughts from time to time or whatever it is. I think we all have an evil streak within us to one degree, too much booze, we all have an evil streak somewhere. But I can promise you guys, I will never be accused of raping kids, okay? John Podesta is called Podesta the Molester for a reason. I did not come up with that term, okay? There are hundreds, not thousands, of YouTube videos out there. I'm going off on a tangent now about John Podesta. I just got emotional again. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. I think this has been a fantastic stream. We had Rescue Pets. We had Rock Me. We had Beef Stewie, who's obviously all right. That was a 70-minute rant. I try to do a more interactive stream, but I gotta figure out why my damn phone is not charging, and I only have 10% battery life. So I'm gonna give us another, and then I'm gonna cut. I don't know what it is. All I know is that it won't fucking charge. That's all I know. And it's very, very frustrating. Rock Me says, Toodles, Blackie. And Isabella rocks. Yes, she does. The Walrus. We love the Walrus. And by the way, Blackie Fitzpatrick Show Live. kicked ass. If you're not subscribed to Blackie Fitzpatrick, please subscribe to Blackie Fitzpatrick as soon as possible. Sooner rather than later would be the better. And, you'll be able to hit the bell and, like and subscribe and to get the alerts because he's going on once a day at this point. Blackie is very consistent. I'm kind of random. All right, yeah. So it's cutting in and out. It's just not working. I'm just gonna cut. Thank you guys very much for watching the live stream. Uploading them lately because I frankly don't want to watch my face back. Break. Our phone isn't working. I'm sorry, guys. I just have to cut because my phone isn't working. It's the connection, even though I pay for premium internet. It's Wi-Fi. It's just not working. So I'm gonna cut, and hopefully we'll be back on tomorrow. Okay? So I'll see you guys later.